The brand launch is important for the future of SSE because it sees us communicating more actively with customers for the first time in our history. So this is the start of a long-term commitment to have more and better informed communications with all of our customers and actually the public at large.
We've actually got a very positive story to tell SSE. If we are to deliver the strategy, which fundamentally is about diversifying into other services like home services and telephony and building our B2B business, then without having a strong brand that people know and trust, we couldn't do it.
There really wasn't a strong brand. There really wasn't much brand awareness. So we were starting really with a £13 billion organisation that really, despite the fact that they'd been around for 70 years, no one had ever heard of.
We started talking to SSE people to find out what was the culture, where did the company want to go, what were its ambitions, and what were its competencies. And perhaps more importantly, what the business actually could be, what kind of brand it could be.
We spoke to customers across the UK and non-customers and conducted their most comprehensive ever piece of research, over 4,300 interviews in total. And from that we were able to deduce where SSE sat within its competitive set, and more importantly, start to understand what consumers wanted from an energy brand and how we might create a differentiated brand proposition for SSE.
Brands used to be originally labels of ownership, but I think today, much more so, brands are about what they deliver to people. Brands can make customers do more.
When SSE first came to us, they said, we want to do more. We want to be seen in a completely different way within our market. And our job was to come back to them and challenge them with the ways in which they could be seen and to make the equities they had work harder for them.
Ultimately, we were talking about a brand for an energy company that had no energy, so it was up to us to invigorate that brand and really bring it to life.
What we've been able to do is to create a more dynamic set of visual assets that can be used in a more expressive way. And that's enabled us to use that right across the business, all the different divisions, and to have that flexibility to be able to tailor it to their specific needs.
The Commonwealth Games for us was a fantastic vehicle to relaunch the look and feel of SSE, and it allowed us to really bring all the various different regional brands together and present them as one in a united way.
We then, of course, have announced our second major sponsorship asset. We obviously have the SSE Hydro in Glasgow, the SSE Arena in Wembley, which will give us another means to connect with customers, be present as a brand, and show the fun side of energy.
They are a huge company, a very successful company, but actually quite an unknown quantity for the man in the street. So our job is to introduce them to the public, communicate the fact that they are a business of scale, and that's the key task of this campaign, is to get them a brand and a profile.
One of the biggest moments, of course, was when the agency came back and said, we have this idea and it involves an orangutan. It's not a real orangutan, but it's an orangutan. And everyone just went quiet.
When I fall in love.
We were looking for a fresh pair of eyes. Imagine if you woke up one day and saw all the brilliant things that energy does for the first time. The campaign should begin finally to deliver a profile for SSE, a meaning behind the logo, a clue as to the scale and the success of the business.
The commitment to something like the brand campaign is really critical because it's inspiring. It really allows us to make a message and a standpoint out in the marketplace in a way that SSE has never managed to do before.
SSE is a big brand. It needs to play at that table, and I think all of the look and feel that we've developed helps it to be seen as such.
Brand is much, much more than design. It's much more than our clothing, our uniforms, our vans, all of our external signage. Brand defines who we are, what we're about, what drives us. Brand defines our propositions. It defines our conversations with our customers. Brand is everything, and it's absolutely integral to the development of our business.
Our brand work is really an invitation to come look and see, and they'll find a level of commitment to service they will struggle to find in other parts of our sector.
This campaign brings us the start of the journey of trust for the public to look at SSE differently?
We want people to know what we stand for, all the work that we do, things like paying a living wage to staff, all the work that we do in communities, and branding that and making sure that they know what we stand for, we feel is very important.
So our goal is with this investment is to really re-engage with customers, get them to reappraise us, and so everything else that we do will be underpinned by that brand engagement, and over time we'll get a level of trust and affinity with us that's going to power the rest of our businesses.